Good morning. Now, yesterday I mistakenly shut off the recording between a few slides, so I thought I'd just cover off on the missing slides in the presentation just in case anyone wants to see the whole thing. I had touched the screen of my iPad, and this is the top to the hand because I'm on the side here, and I just inadvertently shut the recording off. So just to carry on from yesterday, these lifts in Admiralty Towers High Rise and Admiralty Towers 2, even with 2 lifts out, have a equal or superior capacity to any of these other buildings in the precinct with all of their lifts going. So, okay, on to the next slide. This is my cool diagram of an elevator system. And the elevator modernization, while it seems complex, and it has complex implications for the body corporate, but it is quite a straightforward modernization. There are maybe 6 different systems in each elevator. They're car interiors, door operation, I call it door jewelry, ropes, hoist machinery, and the controller, meaning the brain. And of course there's lots of add-ons, but those are the basic systems. So I just think that owners might need to be aware of that. Now, here's what you didn't see from the committee material from the previous general meeting at which owners voted largely against doing the modernization project. And remember, there for those who were at the meeting, there was one gentleman at the meeting that was asking the chairman, well, where's the data? What are the facts? And I did feel a little bit of empathy for the chairman because he couldn't answer because he didn't have the information or didn't, not at his fingertips. So what I did was I got the maintenance call-out logs from both Kone and Thyssenkrup, and I've put them into a table. Now, as you can see, the year is in blue. Here's 2017 and 2018 down here. And each lift 1 through 6 in each year. Then these are the months, January to December. And in each month, I've indicated the number of call-outs. Now, I have backed out the call-outs that were external factors like nothing to do with the lifts, or where no fault was detected. It was passenger misuse. Yes, believe it or not, we've had a few people jump up and down in the lift and misuse the lift. So these call-out figures indicate that there are surprisingly few call-outs per month for each lift. Now, if you read the tender documents, the specification to meet is 1 call-out per month per lift. It's 2 call-outs per quarter per lift, and it's 6 call-outs per lift per year to be met for brand new lifts. Now, I'd like to put to you, if you look at these figures, the yellow highlights are when there's more than 1 call-out per month. So in the 36 months in 2016, there were 7 months in which we failed, or the lifts required more than 1 call-out per month. And in 2017, there were only 4 such occasions. In 2018, there were 6 such occasions. Now, if you look at this section, these previous years have all been Kone maintenance. This is Thyssenkrup maintenance. I got the Thyssenkrup maintenance call-out log as well, and I've put those call-out logs in my blog. Now, you can see that there are no months in which Thyssenkrup has had to come more than once in a month. So the lifts are performing to the standard expected. In the last 4 months, they're performing to the standard expected of brand new lifts. These specifications were set by the consultant. They were the expectations set for brand new modernized lifts. So I would put to owners to have a look at this table and decide for themselves, well, how bad are our lifts? I mean, there have been talk going around, there has been talk going around that, oh, Kone is here almost every day. Well, that's simply not true from the evidence at hand. So owners can make an informed decision on how our lifts are performing. And this is not surprising because our lifts are very lightly used. Remember that last slide on the previous video? It shows that we have very few units serviced by each lift, which means that our lifts work a lot less hard than lifts in other buildings. So I reason that we should get a lot more life out of our lifts in time because they've been used so lightly. Okay, on to the next slide. This is a rather busy slide. The consultant had sent an email to Kone after its audit, which I agree with. I think that the $3,000 spent was good spend for an independent audit of our lifts. And Kone has attended to most of the issues highlighted on that list with regard to other issues that can be done by their contractor. So Kone haven't ever, walked away from Admiralty. It was the committee that walked away from Kone. In fact, the committee ran away from Kone. So again, I can put this on my blog for those who want to take a deep dive into it. I just wanted to say something quickly about the maintenance contract. The committee decided without reference to owners to terminate the contract, and they had the consultant do this. On the 26th of June, the consultant said, please fix the list in the audit, which is fair enough. And at 8 p.m. on the same day, well, you're fired, meaning the contract's been terminated. Now, the owners always have to be asked about major changes. These changes should have come to a general meeting. The owners have not voted on a new lift contract, and that new lift contract from Thyssenkrup, that maintenance contract I'm talking about, has an exploding cigar clause in it, which relates to the modernization. Kone's maintenance contract, in my view, is the only contract that has been voted on and approved by owners. And just in terms of monthly costs, as far as I can tell from the body corporate records, the monthly cost for Kone was around $8,000. The monthly cost already for Thyssenkrup is up over $12,000. So it bears some thinking about. Is that contract with Thyssenkrup legal? I'm taking advice on that today, so I'll let you know. Now, one of the issues raised by some owners in the forum, and I do thank the committee for holding that forum, I think they should do more of it, the Kone parts availability. Now, this is part of the Kone tender that you were not allowed to see. The committee rejected the non-conforming Kone tender, and having a background in major contracts management and tendering, I understand why a non-conforming tender might be rejected. But this should be seen by owners, in my view. Kone has said that their control system, they have those parts in stock for 2 to 5 years. Now remember, Kone is a manufacturer of lifts in Australia, so they have a pretty good idea of their stock levels. So that source for this information is the Kone tender to committee. So the drives are an important part, and the update kit to one of the drives is an important part, and they say they hold stock. So I believe those parts are available till at least 2022, and that's another 4 years, right? So we don't have to do anything too rash. Now, the Thyssenkrup tender, this is the one that the committee's recommending. Now, keep in mind, the committee entered into a contract, a maintenance contract with Thyssenkrup, clearly envisioning that the owners would simply vote yes, to the modernization. So now the first option on the last meeting was 1 lift at a time, finishing in 2021, and the option 2 was 2 lifts at a time, finishing in 2022. Each of these options are perfectly fine, but the owners voted that down for a very good reason, because the committee just hadn't made the case for modernization. But in all of those tenders, there was absolutely no option for maintenance until we actually need to modernize due to the light lift usage in our building. And just quickly, the budget for 2019, the committee has penned $635,250 contribution to the sinking fund in the 2019 budget. despite the owners voting this down in mid-January. So I think the committee is expecting owners to vote an exuberant yes to this motion. I would ask you to reconsider your yes in light of some of this new information. The committee has also penned $60,000 per annum for a lift maintenance contract. Now, the Kone tender had a $63,295 per annum in their tender, which is not too far from the committee's budget. But as I read it in the tender documents, the Thyssenkrup maintenance proposal had $151,820 per annum maintenance for option 1 and $103,480 for option 2. So that's a lot more expensive. Now, unless there was a mistake made on the tender, I don't know. The current Thyssenkrup maintenance contract has a penalty clause, and I'm taking legal advice on this today, for the committee executive postponing the modernization. So clearly, the committee entered into this contract, in my view, they entered into this contract with the full knowledge that there was a possibility of Thyssenkrup doing that modernization. And they terminated Kone's contract well back in June. So they started this motion in train on the advice of a consultant without really telling the owners. I mean, the committee did tell the owners that they had terminated Kone's contract. In my view, they should have taken that to the owners at a general meeting. Now, here we are back up to the slide where there are certain benefits to voting no, to voting no thank you, to voting no not at this time. And that's where I'll leave this video, and the next one will take you back to the presentation day. And again, I apologize for inadvertently turning off the camera. I won't do that again. Bye.